didn't hear from Andrew or Arian.
Is Victoria?
She said she was gonna be here. He didn't respond, but everything's up and running. We did a chat, but didn't respond, so. But it is 12 o'clock.
Do they need to appoint somebody to be?
Yeah,
Yep.
Darlene,
Vice chair.
No,
There we go.
Can you hear us, Ryan? You can't hear us? I don't know.
I don't know if we should start and stop it. Everything's. The audio.
Yeah, I don't know, because it should be back there. I mean, I can turn off the.
How's life going?
What's that?
How's life going?
Well, funny you should ask. I'm reading a great book about that. It's being created and being enlightened at this late stage. Still.
Still learning.
So yes, good. Need a little help once in a while. The man's name is Rick Rubin. He's a sound engineer that all the McCartney albums and has.
Music engineer? At
Yeah,
Nashville?
he runs a recording studio.
Yeah, Nashville?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's quite the guru.
Mm-hmm.
One of those creative moments. So I read 2 or 3 pages every morning of a copy and then
Are you able to hear now, Ryan? That's a no. Okay.
You up here? Great. You whoever you want to be. There she is. There we go. Trying to do work.
Well, we're having some technical issues.
Yeah, I know. That was a little official. I texted, I said, oh, you showing up? I said, where is it? I said, conference room or council chambers. She said, council chambers. I said, okay.
hi.
Our audio's not, yeah. We just had it all open, but, no, Chelsea's back there doing the streaming computer, yeah.
Yes, hi.
She's backstage. This is Kendall.
When you do, roll call, since you're sitting on here, you're going to do your brief intro on yourself. Sure. That'd be great. When you do.
That's me. That's the you're then okay.
And Mike, how are you?
There.
Okay, you guys want to just talk?
Yeah.
Oh, we can.
Test, can you hear me? Test 1.
Test two.
Can you hear us yet at all? Did that change anything?
Testing, testing.
You still can't hear.
Oh, yeah, no, it's picking up your footsteps as you're walking around and shut all the way up and speak to you. So as far as the windows is concerned, everything is there. I am seeing, it looks like, hello? Is Ryan looking?
Can you hear us, Ryan?
Yes.
Oh,
Simple things.
Success.
Yes.
thank you.
Ready?
Yeah, let's get started.
All right, good afternoon and welcome to the November 13th City of Coos Bay Design Assistance Team meeting. Just a friendly reminder, when you go to speak, please turn your microphone on. We're going to call to order. We will start with online.
Is that my cue?
Yeah,
Okay. Hi. Ryan Tuss, Design Assistance Team.
thank you.
I'm Vicki Crum-Packard. Oops.
Vicki Crum-Packard, Design Assistance Team.
MJ Kariva, Design Assistance Team.
Ariane Lyons, Design Assistance Team.
Judith Luzier, Design Assistance Team.
Kendall Blake, Design Assistance Team.
And Kendall, since you're new, please just take a moment and tell us a little about yourself.
Sure. My name is, closer to me. My name is Kendall Blake. Born in North Bend, but just recently moved back in 2019. I have a wife and 2 sons. We own a home on Elrod, and my sons go to Lighthouse School down on 101. My family has been in the area since, I think, the late 1960s. I've spent a lot of time here. So just moving back to town, I took a design job at Fredwell Marine Construction. I'm a marine designer. I draw fishing boats, commercial boats. I did have some background in architecture. Worked with Albrecht Architecture in Eugene and Lee Kirsch of Eugene. Was involved with various design projects and some sculpture projects, but my background was in the marine trades, and got an opportunity to continue that, combine both, and so I did. And yep, I work at Fredwell Marine, and yeah, that's it. So I'm really excited to be here. Thanks for inviting me to your team.
Thank you so much. We're going to go on down to public comment. Do we have any public comment? Nope. All right, now we are moving on to item 4, Architectural Design Review Application, 790 North Bayshore Drive, the mural. Mike? Do you want to share? Do you want to just explain a little bit about the project to us? We have our packet.
No, we do not.
It's on the attachment.
It's in the
They
attachment.
did not come up online
Oh.
at all. Yeah.
It is in the packet.
Yeah. Okay.
That's perfect, thank you, Mike. I always know that you come prepared, so.
Trying to get my
I looked and looked and looked and did not find it attached in. Ooh, wow. Cool. All right.
I pulled it
No.
up on the screen as well.
Oh, great, great.
If we each want to have one or what? I'm gonna keep one. momentarily at least.
All right, Mike, so tell us a little bit about how you selected this design and where it's going.
Well, I just finished a presentation at Rotary lunch yesterday, so I've had some experience explaining this just recently, and I had a PowerPoint, and it was mostly what you see there, but it's also the story about artists and their impact on culture. And Hokusai is one of those people that is at the top. And I've always admired his work, and at this point now, doing the research, I'm totally in love with this guy. He's the master, my master. So I saw an article about two men in Olympia, Washington, that have restored this Hokusai wave. And what it did was it brought new life into an industrial district that was rather bleak. And so because of the mural about 20 years ago, things built around it in terms of attractiveness, something fresh, something new. And so this is kind of that, in that vein. Hokusai's original work is in the Metropolitan Museum of Art. They have one copy of the original out of 100 of them in the world. Last month it sold for $2.75 million. So it's a very valuable piece of work. And I feel humbled to be playing with it. I stretched it double wide because the original is about 10 inches by 12 inches, very small. And so I stretched it out to a rectangle, and there's no copyright on this, by the way. So I get to play with it. And I had to add a wave at the very depth, the furthest depth of these series of waves, so that the towboat, Charlie Yates' towboat, the Oregon Escort, wasn't directly right under that ominous wave. Although the fishermen in the canoes, they call them, they are in trouble. It's a rogue wave. It's considered a rogue wave, not a tsunami thing or anything, just a wild one. And his intention was to create the yin-yang of our world, the wave being uncontrollable nature, and Mount Fuji, the triangle with a wide base, being solid earth. So solid and uncontrollable chaos. And the triangle and the circle were, at the times, part of the theories and principles of art, at least Asian art. And so the triangle is repeated in Charlie Yates' towboat. The bow and the stern and the mast create a very much similar triangle to Mount Fuji. So Mount Fuji is being passed by this towboat through the waves to the left, as all of the boats are. They're all going left, and the wave is going right. On my recent cycle of drawings, you'll see a little brown pelican above the waves. I was down sketching on the wall to see the scale and scope of things, and I asked the three guys at the Coos towboats to come by and give me a critique on Charlie Yates' boat. I was just sketched in. And they gladly did. They came back and they looked at it and they said, "This is not Charlie's boat. This is not the Oregon Escort. It doesn't look like it at all. It's yellow and it's orange and white, but it's not right." So it was an early sketch, and, you know, I appreciate constructive criticism through the University of Oregon's brutal courses. And just knock you down and get back up, and it'll be better. And well, of course. So I went down to the boat itself. It was a block away, and I spent 2 days measuring every square inch of that boat and documenting it to a scale drawing, and which Charlie will appreciate. It is his boat. He's paying for it, and it has to be exactly right. So that was a great moment. While I was down there, after reading this book every morning, Rick Rubin, he talks about creative space and moments. And so I read one chapter, went down to the boat, and I'm standing on the stern. The bay is glass. There's no wind. It's 75 degrees. And one of the things that Rick Rubin says is just wait for that moment. Just stand there and do nothing, and be ready for something, anything. So I'm like, okay, I'm standing there and just looking out there. It's beautiful, and this brown pelican just goes across my view. I didn't turn my head or anything. It's like it just went through my head, basically. And so he belongs on this. As a reference to Rick Rubin's philosophy. Huh? He is. He's going with the wave. Yeah. So there's a lot of energy crossing paths and depth-wise as well. It's a thoroughly enjoyable exercise with the process being public performance. And it's not like a piece of art that you go hang somewhere. It's displayed, the process will be displayed, and the progress will be displayed, and mistakes will be displayed. So I'm ready for it because, my training is that constructive criticism is key to everything, even my own the next day or whatever it is. This cycle of drawings has taken me about a month, and so I work on them every day, and they've changed a lot, and so it's an exciting process to be involved with, and it's going to rain. Yes. So that doesn't keep me from being excited about it. It just, you have to do it differently than you expected to. There may be some shelter created so that I can work in poor weather. I was project manager at the Liberty Theater for the last 8 years, and about $4 million worth, and that was very exciting. Our last project, we had to take a roof off and build another second floor over that roof in the middle of the rain. And Scott Partney's crew created this 7mm visqueen with fiberglass strands through it, mounted it on the parapet wall above, and then covered everything, and created like a hot air balloon with fans. So the entire project was these fans on and this balloon just kind of there and working right through the rain. So I know it can be done. It's just a hassle. But these creative moments, I think, only come to you occasionally, maybe once. Yeah. So I can't stop doing this because of weather. Maybe, something else, but not weather.
Mike, I appreciate all of your intention and your detail and your process for this. I'm going to turn it over to the commission to see if they have any specific questions for you.
You want me to stay?
Yeah, stay up there
Okay.
because we'll ask questions. Thank you.
I appreciate that your first paragraph of your description ties it into the historic of Tugboats Windmill, of Coos Shipyard, hence why a water and why a tugboat. aren't truly depicting like a historical diorama of what our waterfront would look like. Some historic districts do that.
Yeah.
It enhances their buildings, that's their user experience. I think this user experience is it's eye-catching and it's thought-provoking, and we've got one-way traffic going north, going right by it. You've got a wonderful food court that's right there nearby. We'll have a lot of foot traffic. Aesthetically, and the color palette I like.
It is historic.
Yeah, so, and the existing gooseneck lamps that are up there would light it enough, you feel?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I like, short, sweet, and simple, but you've got it all there in your proposal, and I like that very much. Thank you.
That's important.
Ryan, you have your hand raised?
Yeah, I had a question for Mike about the wooden boats that are in the draft. Are they going to be part of the final piece?
Yes.
So, sorry to interrupt everybody, but Ryan, it sounds like you had some ex parte communications with Mike. Do you just want to kind of touch on that real quick?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Mike and I did have a conversation at Front Street Community Bike Works a few days ago, just saying that he told me about the project that he was working on, and yeah, that was about it. I can't think of anything specific that would change any of my opinions about the project.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, if I were somebody from out of town, I came by and looked at this, I'd go, what the heck is it? My suggestion is to have a board that doesn't take away from your imagination, but gives you an idea of what is in there, and then they can take away what they feel. Because it's beautiful, but there's a meaning to it.
Like all art.
Absolutely.
Like all art, yes.
And what is the tugboat? What is this longboat? What is the wave? What is the pelican? You can just say it's a pelican, period. No, and people can take away
How
what
about
they want to.
a QR code or something that you could do on your phone, and it would tell you that story,
Yeah.
if you're interested.
It could even be,
Learn more about this story.
Right, and connection with the History Museum possibly through that same, and history of towboats or
Don't we have a sister city that's in Japan too? Is this Chinese or Japanese?
Japanese.
Yeah, but we do have a Japanese sister city.
Choshi.
Yeah. Tie that in somehow? I don't know.
QR code is good because then you can always, on your end, change whatever.
Yeah.
It's not.
I'm just throwing things out.
Yeah, I wanted to put a QR code on that last mural I did by the chip pile. But I looked up the technical aspects of a QR code of a vehicle going 45
That's
miles
right.
an hour.
There's no foot traffic.
And as the speed increases, the QR sign has to increase. And it became 6 feet by 6 feet, which is kind of, distracts from the actual mural.
It's an
But-
art installation of its own at that point.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And you
So
have no, on any of the murals, any notation of what it is, like give it a name, so people can then look it up as they're driving by. Oh, that's that, let me look it up on my Google. Oops, but that's
Yeah.
easier than a QR code.
And that might be something, Mike, working with either the art museum or the history museum, having it could be the same QR code at all the murals, so it takes it
Right.
back and it explains some of the murals and
Yeah.
the history of murals in our community.
Yeah.
Well, and, at 6 feet by 6 feet, a person could take a picture of it and keep traveling and not stop and just know about it while they're on their way to Portland or something, whatever. So it's not a static thing.
So where are you putting the QR code?
Well, I just thought of it
Well, it
when
sure
you
looks
said
funny
that.
next to a piece of art.
Yeah,
I think in this case, since it's mostly pedestrian traffic, because it's in the parking lot.
right.
So
Yeah.
this one, and then I'm thinking, downtown Coos corridor, because there is potential for more murals taking place and some collaborative effort where it's the same QR code, so it goes back
Mm-hmm.
and kind of describes the history of murals in our community, some history about your mom and stuff like that. I think that would be really.
Yeah, with links, a lot of links.
And also the City of Coos Bay, the visitor center might be able to put it in there, any brochures,
Yeah, uh-huh.
like
Can
a
I-
map.
Can I ask, is there going to be any, just to clarify, there will be any text underneath there for identifying?
Well, it will say who did it and reference to Hokusai. I don't know how much
QR code
narrative
challenged.
needs to be on a piece of art to explain it to the average person. And some people, won't get it no matter what you tell them. Like, who paid for this and how much? What? So generally,
Perfect.
art does not have an explanation of what it means.
Well, I guess I'm sorry, I wasn't asking for the description, just a way to find your description without using a phone camera.
Uh-huh.
That's all.
And providing recognition for you.
For,
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
I guarantee
completing
you,
it.
the food court people will be asked all the time, and they'll go, oh, here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Charlie's paying for it all, and the food court will give me 3 beers a day while I'm working on it.
Oh, yes. The barter system is pretty good.
Say
so,
Charlie's
yeah.
thing?
Haven't talked the food trucks into any food yet,
Yeah.
but hey.
At least,
I
a,
will
at least a
be,
half a
um,
sandwich a day, so.
I will be making prints of this on watercolor paper as close as I can get to it and selling these to make some additional money to pay for things. And I think one of those is a placemat. People love placemats.
Yeah.
And so, it's going to be less expensive. I don't know why, but its form isn't in the context of fine art,
Yeah.
a placemat. So be raising those. And then there's another mural in my sights, the fuel tanks at the bottom of Newmark. I proposed to the port last week, and they liked the concept. Charlie's building another towboat. They call them tractor tugs. They're large. They have 7,000 horsepower. They have more horsepower than the ship does.
Yeah.
And so he's just finishing that, and it'll be down here next week. And so we're talking about putting the signet on the side of the fuel tank.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And I don't have any sketches of that for you. I have a model, but I thought, let's stick to what we have here.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Any other commissioner questions? Any comments about the process or the project in general?
So on the staff end, it's in the Waterfront Heritage District, so it's subject to all the design review standards. 2 things I've noted: the building design with massing. It has a comment in there that it needs to be attractive. Attractive to who? Public notice was mailed out. We didn't receive any comments one way or the other on the proposal. In regard to the massing, it's flat to other similar signs that are there. And then the other thing is the colors. So 2 of the proposed colors are not on the approved palette, but it is in the same family. So staff doesn't see any issues with the recommending of the approval because they're similar.
Which colors were those?
The 2 that are not, the HC 154, the Hail Navy, and the HC 51.
Oh, the one up here, okay. Pink.
And I think it's worth a comment too that because there are a lot of entities pushing forward with murals within our community, that I think that we need to evaluate any of our code as it's placed towards murals and placement, as we have had other murals in the Heritage District that have been removed, and now we are moving forward placing murals in the Heritage District. I think we need to come forward with a consensus that's not just for the Waterfront Heritage District, but our downtown core, both in the Empire District and Coos Bay, and come up with that we still want to view them, but that the process might be a little bit easier, and so that people feel comfortable coming forward.
And staff is working on revisions to both the Empire district design standards and the waterfront, so that is something that we are working on to make it easier and not so restrictive. The other color comment in there just referred to bright or reflective colors, none of which are applicable to this, so staff didn't see any real
I have
issues.
a question of placement. What looks like sort of a pumpkin color, the HC51, I believe it is that what's going to be on the ship?
No.
Or will that be in?
That is Hokusai's tint of the sky. It's intended to be not that color consistently, but if you see in the exhibits, there is at the top of the drawing, it is rather warm air, and it descends into a rather dark, smoggy around Fuji. I don't know what was going on in Japan at the time, but it was his artistic license to make whatever he wanted. Yellow sky, I've not seen yellow sky, it may be LA or something, but 200 years ago, it was, he was considered one of the best artists in the country. Funny, if I go ahead and keep going.
I would be remiss if I didn't ask this. Does ODOT have any type of ruling regarding signage or large signage that close to a US highway that they have? I mean,
I've been trying to place the city's windmill that city now owns in ODOT areas, both traffic separated islands, both ends of town, and they do have concerns about it on ODOT right away.
but adjacent to, the only reason why is when you said the oil tanks at the base of Newmark, I remember decades ago, ODOT did not like the signage that was on it, but it was grandfathered in. So going forward with what you were talking about in the future, you might run into that.
My understanding now is it's primarily illumination is the concern.
What was that?
It's primarily, illumination is their primary concern, is
Yeah.
illuminated
Right.
signage and signage that moves.
Well, funny you mentioned that, but the Liberty sign that we reproduced for
Gazillion bucks.
$150,000, 100 grand, something like that. It does have sequential neon moving lights. And so they go off at 5. They go on at whenever we want them to go on, but the sign stays still all night. And so it goes off in the morning. But when we have an opening, we turn the switch to where it's into sequence. And ODOT didn't have any problem with that.
Good, right.
So we worked with ODOT, and I'm familiar with their intent. Like the historic colors, part of the intent is not to have a pink building like over by the mom's kitchen. We don't want, rather than this color, whatever it is, 151, is a rather warm yellow or something. That's to be thinned and graded down to, so it is the pigment that I'll be working with. There probably won't be that color anywhere, but it will be implemented to try to reproduce Hokusai's every element that I can.
So you're intending to use the yellow sky?
What was that?
Are you intending to use the yellow sky?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
It's going to
Exactly.
segue
I mean,
into
the more I can honor the master, the better I feel. So I'm going to try to make it like Hokusai did it.
Mike, it's south-facing, and what do you think for fading, color fade?
But it will.
It will.
Yeah, probably every 5 to 10 years, and maybe touch it up. And there is a rubberized paint underneath that I saw Steve Schneiderman yesterday, and he said, how's that going to last? It's south-facing. Well, whatever. We'll just take
Yeah.
care of it, you know?
Well, that was another one of my comments, with it being a concrete block building, and we know with the conditions and our elements
Yeah.
here, just making sure that the sub-base paint structures.
Right. There was blisters that I had to scrape off and prime, and I'm working with Trey at Bayshore Paint,
Yeah.
and he's my
Go-to.
advisor. So whatever he says goes on. That's what I'm going to be doing.
Perfect.
And so this primer is intentionally for concrete block, the white that's there.
Perfect. Additional comments, questions, or concerns? And then we don't do motions, but we do recommendations, correct? So I would need a recommendation one way or the other.
We'll let somebody else talk. You want to
I'll recommend.
Okay, recommend that the project moves
Yes, move
forward.
forward.
Okay. So, all right, and so we do a consensus, not a motion here, so we're just looking for a consensus of people wanting the project to move forward. Move forward,
Yes.
move forward,
Yes.
move forward. Ryan, consensus to move forward?
Ryan actually had to leave.
Flip off, that's fine. So we have a general consensus that we are moving forward with the project, or make recommendation for the project to move forward
Great.
to the city. So, Mike, we appreciate your time. I'm looking forward to seeing this
Well, you as
complete.
well. Yeah.
And when you get those prints done, let me know. I'll come by.
You guys kind of talked about a few different things, so no conditions of approval other than the final land use inspection once complete, or? Just
Any
wanna
other,
make
any
sure.
concerns? Yep,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
we're recommending as is. So,
And I
Fantastic.
like the fact you're still creative, so just keep on keeping on.
It's a lot of work being
You're
creative,
important to the
by the way.
city. Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah.
A quick story about the boats, because it came up. These boats went out every day from the harbor, and fishing boats stayed out all day, all night. So these are the transporters of live fish to the markets every morning. And I think they still do that. The fresh markets in Tokyo and around. But these guys they're 8 people rowing a 36 to 50-foot boat. That's enormous.
Yeah.
Enormous boat powered by oars through rough seas. And so Hokusai's, in one of his messages was, you must fear and respect nature. And of course, we still do that.
Yeah.
And even Charlie, and in his big boats with 7,000 horsepower, they still respect and fear a lot of elements that they are working with. So in a way, these boats are the transporters of resource, which that's what we do here. We transport our resource out of Coos Bay to the world. And so these little elements are historic references that some things never change. The intention of the elements there is the same intention we have today. So it's a nice little story.
Very eloquent. Thank you, Mike.
All right, thank you.
All right. Do we have any additional team comments? I would like to say welcome. We enjoy having the position filled, and welcome to the committee. And any other additional commissioner comments? No? We had discussed, Cricket Souls had come in last time and had discussed adding potentially within our parks system structure. We have a lot of buildings that are building elements that fit within parks but also don't fit within parks. She had discussed possibly this being a venue for them to discuss some of their concerns. I discussed that a little bit with parks at our last parks meeting, and I'd like to discuss moving forward with the city about maybe making this a possible venue for them to have conversations. But that's just information for the brain processing, and I'm working with Greg, and I'll work with you, Kelly, and see if that's something that might work well, given that we do mostly buildings, and Parks has quite a bit on its plate right now with parks and bikes and ped. So
I know I'm new to this, but I would definitely agree to that. I spent a lot of time in parks
yeah,
with children, and coming back from Eugene, we had a lot of parks there.
Yeah,
And we love the parks here we have here, and some of the equipment is from when I was a child.
yeah,
Some of that I wish would stay.
Well, you're a lot
I would
younger
bring a
than me.
welder and fix it,
yeah.
because it's great stuff, but I think that would be great.
Yeah, it would be nice to have some help and work relationship for, I think for committees that already exist. As we have found through the parks process, sometimes it's difficult to form other committees and elements that are outside of that. Given that our schedule does tend to be a little on the lighter side, hopefully busier next year, well, hopefully we can get more people doing more things. But that's something that we can discuss further. It may or may not work out, but I thought it was a great idea by Cricket.
And we do have, in the upcoming year, some more meetings happening. We're gonna have some trainings come in. Curry Gill from the state in January is gonna
Right.
come in and provide some training. And then I can't remember the name of the other individual, but she's gonna come in after we meet in January, kind of get some ideas about what you guys want some training on when it comes to the historic buildings and things like that. And so hopefully next year we will have some more frequent meetings.
Yeah,
is
and
the
I
plan.
appreciate now that we're being able to meet in person and stuff like that. I think it creates a nice cohesiveness, so. Awesome, thank you so much. With that, I will adjourn our meeting for today. Thank you everyone for coming in, and I look forward to the next meeting. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.